Now, for more on this dispute over the elections in Barbados, we are being joined live from Bridgetown by Peter Wickham. He's a political scientist at cadres, which is the Caribbean Development Research Services. Peter, thank you so much for joining us. Could you start by explaining to our viewers the constitutional process in Barbados? Once Parliament is dissolved in March, which is 5 years after it first met, the Prime Minister has 90 days to call an election. So technically, he's still within the parameters of the Constitution. So why is there anxiety?
Yeah, technically he is. And I mean, there's no question that he is within the four corners of the law. We have a convention in the Westminster system that says that this 90-day period is normally used in the event of major emergencies. And if you look across the region, there have been very few precedents. In 2015, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago did use the 90 days, but she stated expressly at the dissolution of Parliament that she would use the 90 days. In Antigua Barbuda in 2014, the part of the 90 days was used because there was a court decision that was affecting boundaries that the Prime Minister was waiting for. The problem with Barbados is that we are facing the first time in regional history where Parliament has dissolved itself, through an act of the Prime Minister, has dissolved itself, and the Prime Minister is yet to say when the election will be called. So the problem is that we are in limbo in that we don't have a parliament and we don't know when the election will be held. And this is a regional first. I think it is unconventional. It is not consistent with the final traditions of Westminster democracy that we adhere to across the region.
And also, Peter Wickham, it's also not necessarily good political practice because in 2015, as you mentioned, with Kamala Persad-Bissessar in Trinidad, she tried it, but it didn't work for her. So what is Prime Minister Fruendel Stuart thinking?
Yeah, I mean, and that's the problem, because as I look at all of the other instances in which, and I actually did an assessment, generally longer terms result in defeat. Prime Minister Stuart is now almost at the 63rd month of what should be a 60-year term. And generally speaking, it spells defeat. The polls are looking very bad for him. Strategically, it doesn't make sense, especially as Ms. Mottley said, there's not anything that we can say that he's doing while he's there to make things better for him long term. So, I mean, we keep asking what is the strategy, and he keeps saying that he has the time legally, and really it's a question of his legal right, and it's not a question of political strategy. So I draw a blank where that one is concerned as far as the strategy. I think it's highly unwise politically, and I think he will pay dearly for it.
Because I remember earlier saying that it seems that he's pushed it down so he could attend the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting as Prime Minister. And we really at a loss of the strategy. Why hasn't his political party kind of forced him into action? Because clearly they know there's no precedent in the Caribbean for this being a good political move.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is rumored that the party put pressure on him not to go to the Commonwealth Conference. The feeling is that he wanted to go, and it is argued that the party put pressure on him not to go. So maybe there was some pressure brought to bear there. But I've noticed that within the cabinet, I mean, I think the guys are now, and ladies are so constrained by what's going on nationally and their attempt to defend it in the public domain, that they keep taking a position that, you know, it is his right. I don't know what's going on behind the walls of cabinet where people are putting pressure on him, but I understand that pressure was brought to bear to encourage him not to attend either the Lima conference or alternatively the Commonwealth conference.
Now, we started our newscast with Mia Mottley saying that the Prime Minister needs to put the people out of their misery. Do you think the opposition is capitalizing on this? Do you think the opposition is capitalizing well on this uncertainty?
Yeah, the opposition has been walking an interesting line because since the dissolution of Parliament was imminent, they have not said anything about it until now. And I think that that is entirely reasonable because there was a feeling before that they were rushing to get to an election. I think that her position now is that, you know, we just let him burn himself out. And her demand that he call an election immediately right now is really neither here nor there because in 2 weeks' time, he will not have a choice. Basically, in 2 weeks' time, the election will call itself. So I think that what she's doing now is perhaps encouraging him to push himself further because he seems to like to do what she tells, the opposite of what she tells him to do. So if this is the case, then her telling him no to call it will mean that he will basically let it call itself in another 2 weeks. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes down to the wire like this. But as I said, politically, it makes no sense.
Exactly. And Peter, since we are speaking to you and you're from Cadres, which is a polling company, tell us, what are you predicting for the results? And in terms of seats for the opposition and the government?
I mean, I'm not yet at a seat prediction, but the swing that I am seeing is significant. We've had two landslides, one in '86 and one in '99. For both the DLP and BLP. And the swings that we are seeing now are of proportions that are significantly greater than both 86 and 99. I don't know what will happen after, because the DLP has had an amazing capacity to bounce back in the past. Maybe they will be able to recover some ground. But right now, it's not looking good for them. And I think that we're seeing historic level of movement away from the Democratic Labour Party, which would mean a landslide against them.
Thank you so much, Peter, for chatting with us. We've been speaking to Peter Wickham of Cadres, which is a political research company based in Barbados.